All right, welcome to the Principles of Web Design. This is your first lesson here. We're going to do this in a little bit different way than we often do some lessons. So I'm going to have a video lesson for a bunch of things, but one of the beautiful things about web design and learning how web pages work is that you can simply look at the code for a web page and kind of figure it out yourself. So if there's something really cool feature you see or something you're interested in doing, we get to see all of the code. You can have a look at all the code underneath the hood. Kind of what you're seeing right now as far as a web page design is not what the computer sees. It's a translation, if you will. And there's kind of three languages that predominantly build web pages. There's some exceptions to that, but the three big ones are HTML, which is the foundation language of web pages. There's CSS, which changes how web pages look, their appearance. And then there's often JavaScript, which is kind of embedded inside of web pages. We also see some other languages called PHP, and even Python can go and operate on the server. But as far as what's contained inside a web page, you've really got those three things. And you're looking at the translated version here, but at any point in time on any web page, you can simply go right click on that page and go view page source, and you get to see what the code is that makes up this page. And sometimes it will be ugly and very complicated because it's often being generated by a computer. And sometimes it'll be pretty clear, but drilling down either way, you can have a look here and you can see this is everything that makes up that web page that we're looking at. Now, obviously, you don't want to be probably reading this. You like to look at the other way, but what I've designed for you so we can kind of take some baby steps there and you're not overwhelmed by all the different stuff is I've built some really simplistic web pages that we can go have a look and see how they work. And we're going to start off here with the first one, and then let's go build our first page and then learn in the second, third, and fourth, and as we go along, what makes up different web pages and what features are available to us. So if I go click on my first web page, there's an extra link here. It's going to take you outside of Moodle because Moodle is quite complicated. So you're going to get lots of extra code. And you can see here that this is a very, very basic web page. Hello, this is my first web page. You can see that's it. It's just a line of code. But by right clicking on this and going view page source, I get to see what actually makes up this web page. And there's really those words that I put plus these little and they're purple here, but they're little we call tags. And they're little instructions, and you can tell it's a tag because it's got these little angle brackets on either side. These are instructions to the computer on formatting. And technically, HTML is not a programming language. It doesn't actually do stuff. It tells the computer what things are. So in this case, we have two instructions to the computer. And then you'll see some matching ones with a slash on them. This is basically to say, stop doing this instruction. So the first instruction is, this is going to be some HTML, so get ready for it. And so we start talking HTML. The next part is saying this is going to appear on the body. So there's going to be a lot of stuff that's hidden on a web page, things that help us find web pages on search engines, things that have some extra code in it, some things that appear outside of the page. But anything that appears on the page in the body of that page goes inside of a body tag. So we say start typing the body, and then we have here some text for us to display. We then close the body, or we end the body of the thing, and then we say, okay, and now we're done talking HTML. So I'm going to walk you through, we're going to make our first page here. Now, just going back to Moodle, we're going to use a program called Notepad++. There's lots of different ways to write HTML, and there's some pretty advanced tools that help us do lots of management and keep track of very large websites and collaborative projects. But for us, we're going to use just basic code, a lot like if you had done some Python before writing that. And you can download Notepad++ for home here. It's a free piece of software and is really great for programmers and doing some basic things. I've already got it installed, so I'm just going to say Notepad++. And you can see that close those old ones here, that we really just have a spot to type with some line numbers, and it's going to do some other nice things to help us with the coding, but I'm going to write my first web page and see how it works. So the first line, the first tag we said was HTML. That's going to let us talk HTML, and then I want to have something appear on the body. And then in the body, I would like to have these words on my page. All right. Don't forget at the end, slash body to say you're done it, and slash HTML. These closing tags are really important. In this case, it would still work without them, but get in a good habit of starting and stopping all of your tags, with some exceptions we'll talk about later, so that you don't kind of have something running on later on. These tags, starting a tag here and not ending it, can interfere with stuff that you're going to write later on in the page. Now that's it. You've just coded your first web page. So I need to save this. There is one more step that we want to do. First thing you've got to do is go find a spot to save this. So I'm going to go put it in my documents folder. And what I'm going to do is make a new folder here. With web pages, it is super important that you keep everything nice and organized. So I'm just going to call this video lesson HTML, but you can call yours whatever you like. And I'm going to put everything to do with my web page: pictures, sounds, graphics, other graphics, all of my files all live here, and only that stuff lives in here. And you'll see why a little bit later. It's important to keep all of these things neat and organized. And what I'm going to do here is that I need to name this, and there's some special rules to naming this, because right now I'm using Notepad++, which is just a text editor. You can write resumes on here. You can write code in Python or Java or any language that you like and save it. Right now it's just going to be saved as a text file, but I would like to save this as a web page. The other thing I'm going to do is give it a name, and the name is going to be index. The first page you make should be called index, lowercase I, and just that. And this is because this is the first page that a web browser is going to look to or try and find when you go to the internet. And so if you name it that, you won't have to specify what the page is. You can see here I've got pages called 81 in course views, and if we just call it index, we can just go www.mypage.com and it will immediately go and look for the index. The other thing we have to do is save this as a web page. So we put a period HTML at the end. And this lets the computer know that this is now going to be saved in a web page format, so that your Chrome or your Edge or your Internet Explorer or Firefox or whatever you're using, that's the program that should open this by default. So I'm going to click Save here. You'll see immediately also Notepad++ kind of helps us out a little bit. Now that it knows it's a web page, it says, "Ooh, let me help you out." If you click on one of the tags, it'll show you its paired matching closing tag. It also changes some of the colors of the tag, so it's a little easier to see if you've made a mistake. If you forgot to close a bracket, then we see there's a red line here saying, "Ooh, there might be a problem." So I'm going to just save that again like so. Now you could go and find that, or depending on your version of Notepad++ you're working with, you can either go down to Run and launch in Chrome, or some versions have it under View, I believe, and View in Chrome or something like that. So I am just going to go, my version has launch in Chrome. And you can see now I've got my first web page. I would like to have these words on my page, and it's done. We can go back and we can add more text or other things here. And if we just save that up, you can then go back to your page, hit refresh, and you can see we've got some more text that's appeared there. And that, even though it's terrible, is your first web page. Well done.